Okay, so today we're going to be looking at a coordinate grid. And what we have here is a grid with an X and Y axis. So our X axis is always the horizontal axis going from left to right, and the Y axis is always the vertical axis going up and down. And we know that this is the center of the grid, which is also known as the origin. And the coordinate of the point here, and I'll talk about this after, the origin is located at 0, 0. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about coordinates or ordered pairs. So an ordered pair is a pair of numbers in brackets that gives the position of a point on the grid. So for example, if I want to plot this point here, I'm just going to put a random point here. You have to be able to identify where this point is located and how we would label it. Okay, so we always read coordinates X, Y. So we start at the origin and we see how many spaces we move along the x-axis. Okay, so I needed to go how many spaces to the right before I can reach this point. I need to eventually get here. So we moved 3 spaces to the right, okay? And then it's located how many spaces above the origin?
4.
Right, so how would I label this coordinate? 3,
4.
Good. This point is located at 3, 4. This is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. And we always write the x coordinate first. So what if I wanted you to plot the point, let's see if you can plot this point, -2, 1. Again, we start at the origin and we figure out which way do I need to move, left or right, if I want to get to -1. Or sorry, -2, sorry. We're going to -2, x, and 1, y. So where's the x coordinate? We're moving which way? To the left or the right? We're going to go to the left. So I know I have to move here. And then the y coordinate is what?
1, so you move down 1.
We move down 1 or do we move up 1? Is it +1 or -1?
Negative.
Look at the coordinate. It's -2 and this is a +1. So we're going to label our coordinate here. This is -2, 1. That's where this ordered pair would be located. Okay, what about if I want you to plot the point? Let's try another one. Let's do 3, -4. Where would you put this point? So start at the origin, and we're going to move along the x-axis first. How many spaces? And you don't have to draw that line, but that's fine. And then -4 is the y coordinate. So are we going to go up or down?
Down.
Good. So where are you going to put your point?
Yeah.
So we move to the right 3. We move to the right 3, and then we have to figure out we're going to stop at -4. So the point will be located right here. 3, -4. Okay, that's where the point is located. 3 and -4. Want to try another one? Let's try -4, -2. So again, we start at the origin, and we move along the x-axis first, and then we move along the y-axis. So where are we going to go for -4? Are we going to go to the left or to the right for -4? Are we going to go up or down? Good, we're going to go to the left. Okay, good, and then -2.
Gonna go.
And you can go down this way so that you know where to stop. You can go from here. And where are you going to put the point? Excellent. -4, -2. Good. So we've plotted points in each, these are called quadrants, okay? In our coordinate grid, this is called quadrant 1. This is called quadrant 2. This is called quadrant 3, and this is called quadrant 4. Do you notice anything about all the points that would be located in quadrant 1, for example? I have +3, +4. What if I labeled this point? 1, 2. What about this one? 2, 5. Do you notice anything in common with all of these points in quadrant 1?
It's all positive.
Yeah, they're all positive. They're all positive, positive, right? Positive to the right, positive going up. What do you notice about all the points in quadrant 2? If I have a point -3, 4, and then I can have another point -5, 2. What did you notice about all of these points? Where do they start with?
They start with negative and end in positive.
Good. Their x-coordinate is negative and their y-coordinate is positive. What about in quadrant 3? We had the point, I wrote it over here, -4, -2. And I can label this point here, -2, -3. What do you notice about all of these points?
They are all negative.
Good. The x and y coordinates are all negative. And in the last quadrant, I'll give you another point here. We can have 4 and -2. We had 3 and -4. We can have 2 and -5. +2, -5. What do you notice about all of these coordinates?
Starts in positive and ends in negative.
That's right. And this can help you figure out and remember which quadrant you're plotting your points in.